Rod Duff, your host.
And I'm producer Barbie.
And together,
we bring you our podcast,
Insights and Straight Talk. And with that, producer Barbie and I are out. All right, sorry, I had to park the car a little bit, jump out of the car and get in here really quick. It took me a second or so longer than I thought it would. I am okay. Well, all right. So here we are. I got to do something about this because we have another. Well, we haven't had that many, I guess. But and what I'm just going to start doing is, you're not here, 3-4 minutes at the very least before the broadcast. I'll jump on because they have the link. So hopefully, who knows? I think it's happened before. Somebody will jump on 5 minutes into it, and we'll kind of redo the gig. We'll carry it on from there. So, what am I going to talk about? Sorry, my dogs. They like to be on the program more than I wish they were, and it's they're dogs. It's one of the things we got to deal with in life, right? So we were going to talk about mental health today. The gentleman who was on, I could probably share here a little bit. We can at least go over his story because it's a really good story. Wait a minute, somebody just messaged me on here. Hold on. Is he saying I can't find it? Oh, you know what? That is him. Hold on. No, I don't. We could talk about the technology. Now, that's Karen from yesterday. Consider rating me as a guest. Absolutely. Remember yesterday, Karen, she was awesome. I think I've gotten more positive comments back from her from that show than she competes a lot with others. So that's for sure. She was very, very cool, very very knowledgeable in an area that is really important within the human spirit, the human experience. That's what we're all living. And so if I pull on my buddy here, and I'm going to share. I got to put a little me and a big that, right? So I'm going to share wasn't planning on doing this. I'm getting pretty good at this, this whole picture. Oh, I don't want picture in picture. I want, what the hell is it this one? Camera layout. No, that's not that one. So let's go back on. And then we got to share. Where's the share? Present and share screen. Oh my God, guys. I'm just killing time, right? Share a screen. Use this with 2 monitors. And we'll do the whole screen. Don't you just love me talking to myself here? You guys do that, right? I bet you guys do that. So here's the young man. Great story. From adversity to triumph, embracing life's challenges. Still got to figure out how to make this bigger. This isn't big enough, is it? Full screen layout, that might be better. No, that just kicks me off. Or does it? Okay. Didn't make it any bigger though, did it? Yeah, it's me again. I don't know. So, here's a gentleman that came from another country, didn't speak the English, didn't speak the language, didn't speak the English. He, different culture, everything else. And while he was here as a young man, still a young man, take a look. He's a puppy. No offense. I can get away with that because I'm really old. So I take advantage of it. Hey, appreciate you guys getting on. I think we cleared the issues from yesterday, although it looks like the streaming is a little down today. I'm gonna have to check that out. There's a big storm going on out there, so hopefully we're not dropping any bits, any things. But back to him here. He started building from scratch to pursuing his dreams, and then he had a stroke, a massive stroke. I mean, I had a stroke. That boom. It's kind of scary, but you're out, you're done, you're gone. And then a day or so later, I woke up in the hospital going, what's happening? Because you forget, it affects your brain, it affects everything. Fortunately for me, it wasn't, I have friends that it took months and months and months to even use their leg or their arm, or maybe a year. Others that have had, drooling and stuff like, not drooling, sagging of the face and stuff like that. So, here's a young man. And what I love to talk about is, it's funny. We talk about immigration as immigration, and it's this big, broad brush. All right, you guys are climbing on. That means I think our connection is going really well. So hey Todd, unfortunately, unless my young friend here comes aboard, I'm gonna answer through my experience of what I believe he would be experiencing, because again, we're talking about mental health. We're talking about being in different cultures or neighborhoods or lifestyles, and making a change to that, and then recovering from a traumatic, literally near death, or kind of death. Didn't quite go death, but that's a pretty big time experience. I am going to drop this off. And I'm going to stop screen sharing. Okay, there's the opening 8 minutes. So let's jump Todd on here. By the way, before I go there, I just got to get something off my chest. Somebody, can you guys throw me out some ideas, because we need to be able, it's not fair to you guys. And we could have had another guest in this slide. I had to move, and that's the job. No problem. And sometimes we get like, oh, I know it's in an hour, but can I switch it to 2 hours from now, or vice versa? That what I'm getting at is, hey, would you guys really please make this over the top? We need to get into the 3,000 viewers on like short forms, and views on our shows here, so I can afford to have somebody help me with this. It gets not this, but there's got to be some sort of a thing where, hey, if you're not here 7 minutes ahead, we're jumping on. If you don't show up by the time the show starts, what does that look like? What is that? I mean, these are people giving their time to come on and be experts, and the ones that I love their story, and they're the riskiest if they don't have any skin in the game. So we are pondering that right now. So let's just stay with that for a minute on that topic, unless you guys come up with any good ideas. I know a couple of the show's friends are on here. Likely they usually are, almost always are. So how do you push through the darkest days of your recovery? So I can speak from my experience on this subject, and there's a couple of recoveries that we can get into. One, the health. The darkest days it happened, was at the pool. I think it was 2 years ago. Was it 2 or 1? Anyway, I was at the pool, and the next thing I knew, I was at the hospital. I didn't even know anything. Fortunately, there was somebody walking, and they saw me kind of stumbling, and how I talk, but imagine it even worse. Like if you were on, you just drank a gallon of vodka or something. I guess I was just like talking and not really making any sense. And then I sat down on the chair for the pool, and I sat down, and then I just leaned over and did a head dive right into the concrete. And fortunately, that person dove on it right away, and it's like, oh man, we got to, and it called 911. The ambulance came, got me there, and I made it through. Now, the darkest days have been since. That's a little scary too, because when something like that happens, especially when you got a lot of this gray stuff, kind of sneaking up on your life here. When you're young, you're not vulnerable. You consider yourself like the man or woman of steel, right? When we're young, we have everything in front of us. All the advantages physically are there. And then as we get older, we add the mental advantages as well. Hey, I'll get right with you here, Sonette. So there's that trade-off. But when it comes to health, nowadays 40, 50 isn't like it was back in the day. People are living longer, maybe not better, but longer. And so when you start to get closer to 100 than your birth, then it starts to just kind of think about it. When you get into the 50s, 60s and up, obviously, when something happens, all of a sudden you're like, oh wow, something can happen to me. That was a shocker. Just imagine that. So that's the kind of the darkest part of it. So, and also a reason I work out, I run, I don't run anymore, but I ride a Peloton. I do that regularly because I need to, I after my motorcycle accident, I was like right up close to 300 pounds. I'm 5'10" and a half. I could never say 5'11", which is a bummer, but yeah, 5'10" and a half. I'll take that. I'm probably shrinking now a little bit, things are compressing, but I'm probably 5'10" right now, but I'm down under 220, and my doc wants me to be in, they want me to be in the 190. When I was 190, when Barbie and I first knew each other, I was at 9% body fat. That was when I was in my 40s. So, 220 to 200, I'm feeling pretty good about the way things are going because I got a big frame, and I've got muscles heavier than fat, but I'm still way overweight. So I got a ways to go here. The other recovery, well, there could be two. So there's health, there's mental, and then there's drug or alcohol. These are all recoveries that the human species walks through within their life. As far as recovering from, let's say, drugs and alcohol, and believe me, I am not proud of this, but every one of these subjects, I'm a pretty expert. I'm drawing from experience. I better catch up here. You guys are running away with the thing. Mental health and drugs and alcohol. The darkest days in recovery of the chemical addictions or dark days is that coming out. Again, first thing you're worried about is it's the rest of your life being like this. That's a people don't usually look at things, oh my God, I got to be this way the rest of my life. can I do that? You have to start self-analyzing, like we were talking yesterday with Karen. She, looking within yourself. You have to look at that and say, all right, I'm ready. Let's do this, and know the benefit of not being, well, you're always going to be addicted or a drunk, but not being currently in that moment, in the sphere of influence of that. Mental health, that's the scariest freaking thing in my life right there. Yeah, so well, I've had mental health my whole life. I mean, a lot, depression, this, that, all that. We were talking about yesterday that when you were raised, parenting, there was a lot of negative. There was these bad, non-supportive, non-building of assets, non-building of things within your base. These things, Ronaldo, how you doing? These things are what come on board, right? Fortunately, in all those cases, I had experts and people and angels, angel people. When I was in the motorcycle accident, I got hit in the middle, literally the state line area, going from one freeway to the other, between Iowa and Illinois. Not a lot of happening out there except for a river and a lot of country. I got hit. I got thrown down the freeway. I honestly, I don't remember it, but all the details and stuff people tell me. But I had a first responder right behind me in a car, traffic. And then right behind him was a doctor. And first thing, he just grabbed my hand. She put her hand on my leg just to kind of put that energy, right? That calm down, you're good. Because right now, probably shock at that point, shock would have killed you, right? I actually came out pretty good. A couple teeth knocked out and every bone over here broken. And I've got, big shark, like it looks like a shark bite. It goes from up here down into almost my hip. Big shark bite. And it's quiet. You know what? One of these times I found the pictures. They did the x-rays and it's like all steel here. It's so crazy. Like the ribs are broken in 4 and 5 and 6 different pieces, each rib. So I don't know how I got onto that, but the darkest days are when you don't have a support system or a person. And you know what? Here's the interesting thing. Well, family always loves you and they know the most and best and worst and all that about you. And same back and forth. If you're involved with each other anyway. The importance is having that, let's call it an expert. Barbie walked through all of that with me. I mean, she used to drive out 3 hours one way to a hospital I was in for 3.5 months. And then I had to do rehab and learn how to walk, learn how to put on a shirt, learn how to get out of bed. Getting out of bed was, because I was all, broken up in here and cut up in here. I had tubes in me everywhere. And so, when you think about when you get out of bed, you're using a great deal of muscles. I had to learn how to roll, but yet I was all tore up over. That was a crazy time. But I had people around. I have people that I've been fortunate enough to not drive all the great people in my life away. That makes them more special than me. But with that said, I'm here, and they're still here, and new ones, new special friends and people that care are coming aboard. I think you know who I mean. Miss Arins, sorry, Mrs. Arins, right? Yeah. So I'm going to get back to these. That was a that was a 15-minute, but there was 3 parts I put it in. So that's, you got to give me a little, it's okay there. You know what? God dang. These lights, during the wintertime, I could get away with that because it was so cold in here. Now it's still cold, stormy outside, but it heats up pretty fast. So I got to get some more air conditioning in this room. The lights just heat up the room. So that was question number 1. Todd, let me know if you have any other aspects of that you're interested in talking about. All right, so who we got next here? Okay, this is Sanette. What advice would you give someone struggling with a new beginning? Great question. And again, I know this is for a guest, but now I'm the guest. So a new beginning is everything that you are right now is the sum total experiences and influences and moments in your life. Right today, all of that, I'm different than yesterday. Karen talked about this too. Different today than I was yesterday. It's a beautiful thing going through life. When you're starting a new beginning, there's multiple things that cause that struggle. One of them, your brain likes to do the same thing. Your brain likes to be happy. Hear me out on this. Your brain likes to be happy. Did we lose? Hope we're okay. Looks like we're having some issues, but I think we're okay. Okay, yeah. Our streamline is going a little wacky out here. So when the multiple things that are difficult in a new beginning is, number 1, your brain doesn't want to, it's work for the brain to, in other words, create new habits, create a new environment, create new ambitions, dedications. But then there's the other thing, because if you're making a new beginning, there's probably a great deal of people, or at least people in your circle, that you're not going to be able to know as much anymore. It wouldn't, if you're making a new beginning, you're in a circle of the people that are in your circle. If you change that, people are going to want to, people don't like change. They're going to want to bring you back. And that vibe isn't going to work. You're not going to be better for them than they are for you. This isn't throw the gavel down. It flows that way. I mean, if you're, what examples? You hang out with and attract the people who are like you. I mean, family is there, and that's what family is. But the people you attract are attracted by who you are and what you are. And, those beliefs, whether constantly stated or not, are constantly acted out. That's where that second part, where you just have to let go of some people, or they have to let go of you, because there's a new beginning. And that doesn't mean you just start throwing the baby out with, right? The baby out with the bath, the baby out with the bath water. I never thought of that as being such a visual, but it is. So sorry. Please. I love kids. I'm a kid person. I'm a kid dad. I'm a kid granddad. So please, no nasty notes. I know you guys get a little judgmental sometimes. We got to be curious. Remember that, curious, not judgmental. All right, next. Another question. I have no idea where my guest is. Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because answering these questions, like I said here, I can tell you from my experience. And she turned around and said, "Where the hell's the guest?" Now, I hope people don't start dropping off here. That's a joke I like to talk about. We are subject to, the social media and the internet is a great, awesome tool, but it also, there's a lot of, you take risks when you're going out and receiving in people that you don't know their history, or, you can guess, or you can scrape information and get a good idea. But at the end of the day, there's going to be people out there that just, they forget. And then I got really nervous because right before I was like, I always have to go through sending an email, checking on the account, checking this, seeing, if there's any communication that maybe they're missing or something's happening. And I don't want to miss that. I went on to there's Matchmaker FM. That's where that's where they put guests and podcasters together, and your scheduling's all done there and everything. So I'm going through and I'm trying to find out what the reality of this happening today, not looking like it does right now. And I went on there and it shows last seen, last time they were on there, and the son of a gun hasn't been on there in over a week. So that wasn't a really good sign. That's when some people texted me and said, "Hey, are you ready?" I said, "Got a bad feeling about this. 2 minutes, I'm on either way." So he's probably enjoying, in California, it's like 90 degrees right now. Not here, but he's probably enjoying or doing his gig, doing his thing. He's probably on another podcast. He probably said, "I don't know if I should get with that guy. Hey, Sam, how you doing? What role did mental health support play in your journey?" My journey again. Mental health is when there is mental health issues that I deal with. It's very similar. People are different, situations are different, but the support structure is needed all the same. Meaning, for me, it's the difference between being here behind this table, this desk, this microphone, and talking to you folks, much less even being on this earth, having the journey continue. Won't get into all that. You've been here for a while. You know the story. If you want to ask me specifically, I have no problem talking about it. I have come to terms with, I've had mental health my whole life. I said this early on. Well, early on, we're only 28 minutes in, but, it's not like mental health just shows up. Well, that's not true. Mental health does just show up, but it's not like it just got there. It's been there. There's reasons people have mental health. There can be some things with drugs and alcohol. There could be some things with accident, being injured or accident or whatever. The war, the impact of violent and disturbing moments that come at you, whether it's a buddy being blown up in front of you, torn in half, the guy that you had his back, he has yours, and you're rushing into worlds not known, and you're rushing in with the people that have to protect each other for a nation back here, or their nation. But before World War II, nobody ever knew. As far as I know, I wasn't around World War II, but I believe that there was never really a thing of mental health. And people, like in Vietnam time frame, people became damaged, and people, I forgot what the term is, but like bombs blowing, bullets zooming. We're talking about 19, maybe 18, 19, 20, 21. You're getting old at 24 out there. Not old, but you know what I mean. These are kids, and they do something I couldn't do. My dad did 3 tours in Vietnam. Uh, and I'm not a scared person, but have you ever played paintball? And when you get hit, it's like, wow, that made me think differently about war, believe it or not. I mean, this goes back. When my kids were like 5 and 7 and 8, we started playing paintball. And when they were that young, I was the Americans. I just clear. And then I don't know if you've ever heard that joke. It's pretty funny. There's a comedian out there that's the punchline. And when you see it, you'll get it if you don't get it already. But back to mental health. The biggest thing, like you say here, mental health support. So, and this all came from the people in my circle that were strong enough, and certainly stronger than me, to not let me push them away. And I've been blessed, and I don't say that word because it's, I've been blessed. Some people, it's like, I don't know, but I have been, because there's certain key individuals in my life that that are here, and I'm here because of that. Through that support, I never considered going to a psychiatrist or psychologist or taking, I don't know, Zoloft, whatever the to calm you down. I literally went through a period of time where I could not come out. Now, mind you, after the motorcycle accident, lived in a 2-store house. I couldn't do that. I couldn't get upstairs. So a little apartment, 1 room, 1 floor, a little too tight now. Now that I'm like, okay, it's time to do something different here. I don't know what it is yet, but it's been a couple of years in there. And when I went in there, the first time I was able to get up, all I could do was walk maybe 100 feet. And then I didn't have any more strength, and I had to get back. When I had that mental breakdown, I literally could not get out of bed for weeks. I was scared to look out that somebody was going to see me. You guys know Rob Thomas he's an idol of mine. He's amazing. He's every note he plays and every word he says, it didn't work, but I tried, speaks to me. And there's a couple of songs that it talks about, that story of people looking at me from around the corner, and and then here's the next step. Going into this several weeks, I had Barbie walking me through, buying me what's the fragrances, certain not lilac, that it's a purple, but that calms you down. And drink and smelling that I would have never thought of that, but I went through it, and it is true. And then after I started to get a little better, I started to panic, because I asked her, am I going to be like this the rest of my life? I went from being this to this. Now I'm actually, that journey has brought me to become a better person. And it's because of the support that I was fortunate enough to have. As a matter of fact, we're here because of that, that support. And that I was a salesman. I had to go and see customers. I was canceling, making shit up, because and usually I'd call late at night, because if I started to talk to somebody, I would lose it. Not lose it, but I start to stutter, because I'm hearing my own voice and not sure of what I'm saying. That's a hardcore thing to deal with. But Barbie convinced me that I'm going to get better. And that's because of the support. Critical to have support in all things that you need. A man is a man. oh, we're slaying dragons, man. But you know what? We're human, man. We can't just say, I got this. Anyway, so what one thing you wish more people knew about overcoming adversity? Oh, geez, we got a lot of questions still here to go. I wasn't thinking I was going to make it to an hour, but you guys are, I think, are going to. Mr. Bradley, great question. That you can do it. That there's things in the world that people support you doing because they know you. Then there's other things in the world that people don't support because they see you, but they don't know what you're made of, maybe. People who know us best, shocker, know us best. But those, the ones who watch us and don't just, aren't those that circle of friends that, they're there, they're the thing. People who are in a different space or commitment to that relationship, when you start overcoming adversity, they're a cheerleader, not you're never going to get all the way through that. You remember Karen yesterday? This is a similar set of circumstances people have to go through. Saying about Brenda, this is live, so things happen. I'm gonna. Yeah. Oh wait, somebody else. Oh, she must be talking about somebody else. That's my little pit bull. Beautiful little pit bull, but still pit bull. If she wants, this show is important in going at things, and people like to protect it. So I wish more people knew that you can come through this, because adversity, it's like that moment when you're, am I ever going to get out of this? Well, you've got to have a mindset that lights the path for you to get out of this, to get overcoming it. If you have that mindset of, am I going to get out of this? I don't know if I can ever do this again. There's a time where your body and your mind collapses, and then you're mummified. You go through life at a certain point very numb. If that's the mindset, there you are, to end of days, right? I'm saying a lot of ums, aren't I? I gotta think about that. So that's where I would throw an answer out to you at, Mr. Bradley. And here you are. Everyone should take a Red Cross. Oh wait, a Red Cross class. She and I talked about this a lot. It's very. I agree. I have. You used to almost have to, and in some cases you still have to. Let's see. A Red Cross class in first aid and CPR, so they can recognize an ER when it happens. Ooh, that's a take I never thought of. Yeah. Oh, that's an awesome. That's a good point. Love some comments back on that. That's cool. I just sprayed myself, which I actually needed because this is nylon. It's very light, but it's nylon, so it holds everything in. It's like there's no breathing room under there. My body is in a little tiny sauna. Ryan Pride. Hey, everybody here, I really appreciate it. Keep the support coming. We're trying to get over that edge. I was told you we've had some planning strategy meetings lately. What time is it? I got one coming up, as a matter of fact. We've got that strategy meeting coming up, and we have some more coming up, but in those that we've been talking about, we talk about how we need to get to 3,000 likes. We have a long way to grow. I mean, this is really going at a quick pace, and love it. Everything's great. But some people are starting to want to, like you're an ambassador, that you promote them on the show. It's not an advertising thing. It's that first step. It's part of the the benefit of a business having a value added product. So keep watching and watch all the way through. These are all important things. I mean, I'm not doing this. I'm doing this because it's a mission that I've been avoiding all my life and now driving hard into. But I want to do it for the rest of my life. There's people and things and information that I learn about every day. And it's like a kid in a candy store. What kept you going when everything felt like it was falling apart? People around me, the support, my dogs, my kids, not actively necessarily, but it's hard to give up when you know who and what you're giving up on. That's a driver. That's important. And you don't do, your life is for yourself and to enrich those around you. We as people, to do that is a very difficult thing in this society. Agreed? That's where I'm going with that answer. Or are you getting tired? What was your biggest breakthrough during your healing process? This frickin' show. And again, I'm answering for me, and I'm sure the answers are similar. And that wasn't a cheap plug. When I went through, especially when I go through issues, I'm not so manic today. I'm kind of cool, kind of leveled off, just because I am. I haven't been taking any medicine for a long time now. That was a little scary, but I think I'm doing okay, and I know that because of the people that were around me during that time and walked me through it. It's like a shaman, is that the right word? Where they lead you through the path. They're your guide. If you don't have that, it's a big difference. It's a big difference because you could go off and that experience can bring you back into calm. If you go off, you can be brought back into calm and guided and steered in your journey. So Ryan, the biggest breakthrough was, as I started to say, why did I do that? I start to answer a question, come back and layer over it, and then come back and answer the second half of what I started to answer in the first place. When I have things that need to be worked out, and I think a lot of people have that thing that they have to do. I have to write. Well, I don't have to, but that's my thing. That's my release. Now it's to show every bit as much as that, for sure. And as producer Barbie, we were talking about this the other day. I used to never talk like this. I mean, I would talk, but then I wouldn't talk for 60 straight minutes. I mean, she and I would talk. I mean, when we were first started, she kept trying to, okay, you got to say more. You got to say more, because we're at like 18 minutes. And then that confidence came, and that healing came, and it all starts to come together. And the reason I said this show is the biggest thing that came out of that, and that's not so true, but it's a metaphor, right? Or an example. I started to write. I wrote a book. I've actually written 3-ish books. Only one I wanted to publish, and I'm still going to. But when I started writing, and then I started looking at the writing, all of a sudden I started querying the what's called a book proposal. Okay, it's like a business plan. It's what your book is a business. and you've got to sell them, not just on the story, not just on your creative writing and style skill. I've written over 1,000, at least, maybe a couple thousand poems, things I needed to get off my chest, so to speak. And it's the best way for me to communicate back then. That experience then forced me to create a platform, so to speak, because it's a nonfiction. So you get, if you're a celebrity, that's already a platform, and you're writing a book, you got a following, pretty good odds on that. If you aren't, but you can have people that come and watch what you're saying, which the book is based on, that, and I'm not selling this, I'm just saying, then you have a path to go on. So I haven't been able to get back to that yet. I keep trying to, but you guys are so awesome. I mean, every day of the week is surrounded by this podcast, not just the shows here, but you see the marketing that I do, and I'm working on all those modules, those automations, that AI, Chat GPT, Jason. I hope I can get back before 10 years from now. I mean, the books, the proposal's done. I just have to get back on the horse and start going through the organization of it, because you're sending out what's called a query to these, but you don't just shotgun it. You personalize, and you make sure that they're in a genre that you're in, and that, because this is a business. I mean, people do this business because they love words and stories and stuff. The best ones do. And so I'm getting back to that. And that whole healing process kind of brought me back into a different vibe, a different person. I was able to take the mask off. You hear me talk about JR, and there's no more JR. It's Rod Duff. There's remnants, but we're slowly cleaning all that stuff up. Hey, I appreciate you guys sticking around. You're sticking hard at some real good support here, and I love the questions. The next one from Russ, and no Russ, maybe. What's your go-to strategy when fear or doubt creeps in? God, I talk to God a couple times a day, and I'm not a good prayer. I don't pray well, but we do this. I mean, I do. Again, essentially, I'm talking, but what happens is you rebase yourself, you reground yourself. Religion has been a very complex. Spirituality has been a very complex thing for me. It's very complex to a lot of people. There's a whole chapter dedicated in the book to religion. And because I'm a curious person, you've seen rabbis, you've seen Quran Islamic leaders on the show bringing information, because there's a lot of questions. I don't want to go down that path right now, but there's one God, and there's like 5 different major religions, and that's a great conversation. It's in the book. You'd love it. So fear or doubt, I go back to that. And I go to like a Ronaldo or a Barbie or my son, or, the people around that. Remember I said earlier, when you're changing, you're redoing a new beginning. The people around you walk that through. If they're the ones that are around you and doubt starts creeping in, I drive people crazy all the time, because, well, specifically producer Barbie, because it's like, are we doing okay? I think, this is nothing in life unless you're trust fund baby, even then maybe. But nothing in life is ever guaranteed. And it's always a risk of some sort. And there's a lot of people, specifically those with small businesses, that obviously are attracted to that, willing to take the risk. So there's always, certainly in the beginning, a little doubt creeping in, a little fear creeping in. And that's what happened to me when I was going through that transition. It's like people say, I was an awesome compartmentalizer, meaning I just be able to put that in a compartment, put that in, still driving down the road, all this stuff going on in the head, and you're still going, and bam, more compartment, more, and then bam, it just blows, and you've got boxes all over the place. That's actually the scene that I started the book with, and then it took a different direction, because it was really angry when my first partial draft on the book. I thought, what's this serving? But it felt good. It's like that email that somebody pisses you off and you write the email, you sit there for 5 minutes, and then you delete it. Great idea. You don't have to regret something later. Maybe you were wrong. Maybe, and believe me, I've done that kind of thing. Way too much. Okay, well, I get to live in Ronaldo's world here, a couple in a row, and then we're going to kind of start to wrap up and say bye. Senator Vaughn, were you talking to somebody up here who was giving me? Oh, yeah, okay, right, yeah, okay. It's live. Things happen. I love you, girl. You're awesome. All right, so Lavender. God, you're so awesome. Yes, that was it. When I was talking earlier about, and I kind of winded up with this, unless anybody has any final things to pop in or something, I'll start to wrap it up. I've got to get ready for the next show. We've got another one today. We got 2 tomorrow, Thursday, 2 Friday, so on and so forth. So all great stuff. We're starting to get groups of people within mental health, within AI. Tomorrow's an AI thing. The next one is actually, no, it's not. The next one's actually kind of cool. It's, again, how the show started. It's a gentleman who has an inside knowledge of the way governments around the world, and a thing we talk about, the beating up of the great middle class, how media, I could read it, it's written really well, how media, governments, politicians literally change the words of something that happened. They manipulate that narrative and literally tell you something that's different because it benefits them. That's going to be an interesting show. And then on Monday, we have Friday, we have a AI class. We're getting close to that class, so we're starting to bring in a lot more AI people. And to be honest with you, a lot more AI people are starting to say, "Hey, there's an outlet I can pass some information on." So, I got to turn off these lights too. Hey, Ronaldo, can you come out here with an umbrella and kind of make the lights do? See, look at that. I just saw a shadow. That one's a little bright now. All right. The best thing is, this is Insights and Straight Talk. I'm Rod Duff, your host. Sit alongside producer Barbie and maybe co-producer Ronaldo, my little lovely pit bull there. I hope she doesn't get mad at me saying that. But anyway, we're here every day. We fight for the middle class. We talk about saying hi to somebody. This is part of that recovery I talk about. It's amazing how your life changes when your actions change, your vibe changes. We talk about that a lot. Lavender was the thing that helped me. It's an amazing scent. It calms the body. There's others out there too and all that, but keep coming back. This is Insights and Straight Talk. I'm your host, Rod Duff, and producer Barbie and Ronaldo and all our other friends. I just got to tell you, we're out.
Before you leave, if you'd like to watch another one of the podcasts, click the first link in the description. We love having you here and we appreciate all your support.
And with that, producer Barbie and I are out.